All right, today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful savings tools out there for education, the Registered Education Savings Plan, or the RESP. We're going to break down how this incredible account works using material prepared by Dr. Samir Al-Rashani. Let's get right into it. So, let me start with a big question for you. How would you like to turn $50,000 into more than $200,000 for your child's education? Sounds a little too good to be true, right? Well, with an RSP, it's not only possible, it's a very real outcome. And no, this isn't about some risky investment scheme. It's all about smart saving and taking advantage of some amazing government benefits. Stick around and we'll show you exactly how this math works. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll cover the absolute basics of the RSP. Then, we'll get into the exciting part, contributions, and, more importantly, government grants. After that, we'll look at how you actually pull the money out for school. We'll also tackle the big what-if question. What happens if plans change? And finally, we'll wrap up with some powerful strategies to really get the most out of your RSP. All right, let's start at the very beginning. Before we get into all the cool strategies, we need to have a really solid understanding of what an RSP actually is and why it's such a game changer for so many families. Okay, so at its core, an RSP is basically a special type of savings account. It's specifically designed to help you save for a child's education after high school. Think college, university, trade school, you name it. But what makes it so special isn't just that it's for education, it's the incredible tax benefits and other perks that come along with it. And here are the three heavy hitters, the core benefits that make the RSP so powerful. First, you get tax-deferred growth. This is huge. It means your investments inside the plan grow and compound year after year without you having to pay any tax on those earnings. Think of it like a greenhouse for your money. It just grows bigger and faster without the taxman taking a cut every year. Second, and this is the part everyone loves, you get government grants. Yes, the government literally gives you free money to add to your savings. And third is something called income splitting. When you eventually take the money out, the earnings and grants are taxed as the student's income, not yours. Since most students have little to no income, they'll likely pay very little, if any, tax. It's an incredibly smart setup. Now that we know what an RSP is, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do you actually put money in? And more importantly, how do you get that government money we just talked about? So here's the first big number you need to know, $50,000. That is the absolute maximum you can contribute over the lifetime of the plan for a single child. Now, what's great is that there's no annual limit on your contributions, so you have a lot of flexibility. You could put in a big lump sum or contribute smaller amounts over time, as long as you don't go over that $50,000 lifetime cap. Your contributions are, of course, the foundation of the plan. But what really kicks things into high gear, what acts like rocket fuel for your savings, is the government's contribution. This is where the RESP really separates itself from any other savings account out there. And here is the magic number for that government boost, $7,200. That's the maximum amount of free money the federal government will put directly into your RESP for each child. This is through what's called the Canada Education Savings Grant, or CESG for short. So how do you get this grant? It's actually super straightforward. The government will match 20% of your annual contributions. To get the maximum annual grant, you'd contribute $2,500 in a year. The government sees that and they kick in their 20%, which is $500. So your $2,500 contribution instantly becomes $3,000 inside the plan. That is a guaranteed 20% return on your money before your investments have even had a chance to earn a single penny. You just can't beat that. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, oh no, I haven't been contributing for years, I've missed out, don't sweat it. The RESP has a fantastic catch-up feature. If you've missed out on grants from previous years, you can make larger contributions now to catch up. You can actually get up to $1,000 in grant money in a single year by using 1 year's worth of carry-forward room. So it's never too late to get back on track. All right, so you've done the hard work. You've been saving and investing for years, and now the day has finally come. It's time to actually use that money for school. So how does that work? Let's talk about the payoff. The most important term you're going to hear when it's time to withdraw is Educational Assistance Payments, or EAPs. You'll hear this a lot. An EAP is simply a withdrawal made up of all the investment growth your account has earned over the years, plus all that free government grant money. This is the money that can be used for all sorts of education expenses, not just tuition, but books, supplies, rent, you name it.
Now, this is super important to understand. When you withdraw from an RSP, the money comes out in two different forms. Think of it like two pots of money. The first pot is all of your original contributions. You can take that money back anytime, completely tax-free. It's your money, after all. The second pot is the EAP. That's the growth and the grants. That part is taxable. But here's the beautiful part. It's taxable income for the student, not for you. And since most students are in a very low tax bracket, they end up paying little to no tax on it. It's a brilliant way to maximize the money that actually goes towards education.
Now, there are a few rules about taking out those EAPs. For the first 13 weeks of full-time studies, there's a withdrawal limit of $5,000. For part-time students, it's $2,500. But after that initial period, the floodgates open up. The annual limit shoots way up. For 2025, it's over $28,000. And another great feature, you can keep taking out EAPs for up to 6 months even after the student is no longer enrolled, which gives you a ton of flexibility.
Okay, but let's talk about the big what if. This is probably the #1 concern parents have. What if you save all this money for years and years, and then your child decides that college or university just isn't for them? Is all that effort wasted? Let's tackle this head on because it's a really important question. The good news is, the people who designed the RESP system thought about this. You're not just out of luck. There are clear rules and, more importantly, some really smart options available to you.
So here's what happens financially. First off, every single dollar you contributed is returned to you, 100% tax-free. No problem there. Second, all the grant money from the government has to be returned. That's fair, since it was for education. Now, the tricky part is the investment income, all the growth your money has earned. That gets added to your income for the year and taxed at your marginal rate. On top of that, there's an additional 20% federal penalty tax. Ouch. That can be a pretty painful tax hit. But wait. Before you get discouraged, you need to know there's a fantastic built-in way to avoid that painful tax bill. You don't have to just sit there and take the hit. There's a brilliant escape hatch that can turn this situation into a major win for your own financial future. And here it is. This is the solution. As long as you have available contribution room in your RSSP, that's your registered retirement savings plan, you can roll that investment income directly into it, tax-free. This move completely wipes out both your regular income tax bill and that extra 20% penalty tax. You're essentially turning your child's unused education fund into a supercharged contribution to your own retirement. It's an absolutely amazing fallback plan. Okay, let's get to the fun part, strategy. Knowing the rules is one thing, but using them to squeeze every last drop of potential out of your RSEP is another. How do we get to that 200,000 plus figure we talked about at the very beginning? Let's find out. Now, this table is fascinating, and it really tells the whole story. Look at these 3 different strategies, all assuming a 6% return over 25 years. The strategies in the bottom 2 rows are designed to get the full $7,200 in government grants. Not bad, right? They end up with $156,000 and $186,000. But now, look at that top row. In this scenario, you contribute the entire $50,000 limit in the very first year. You only get $500 in grants. But because that massive chunk of money has a full quarter century to grow and compound tax-free, it balloons to an incredible $217,000. It's not even close. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's this. While the government grant is a wonderful bonus, it is not the most powerful part of the RSEP. The single most powerful force at your disposal is time. The more money you can get into the plan early, the more time that money has to compound tax-free. And as you can see, the power of long-term, tax-deferred compounding absolutely crushes everything else. The numbers really don't lie. Time is your greatest ally in this process. The longer your money gets to work for you inside this amazing tax shelter, the more incredible the results will be. Which really just leaves us with one final simple question. Knowing what you know now about the power of time, when do you think is the best moment to start?